What's up, everybody? It's your favorite vertically challenged Canadian's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Mezco 1/12 Wolverine. Once again, this is on loan to me from Energon Addict from the show Breaking the Mold, available on iTunes and YouTube, part of the Realm Collectors and part of the Cool Table Network, so give them a watch. Good folks over there. So this is on loan to me. He actually let me borrow a bunch of stuff. A lot of Mezco 1/12 stuff too, which is interesting because I'm not totally sold on the soft goods approach with 1/12, and it gets even more confusing the more I look at it. Sweet, let's see what we got. The Wolverine, Dragon Ball stuff, Superman. This soft goods thing has gotten out of control. Truthfully, he was just at a party, and the party didn't get as crazy as you may think, but either way, it ended up with me having to return his jeans that he accidentally left in the box. Take that for what it's worth. Anyway, let's get started. Accessory time. So he comes with a display base. We got the X symbol on there in black with the yellow and then the blue trim and then the black edge. So that looks good. And then a little arm to grab the figure. We got a hinge at the base. It swivels at the base, obviously. We have a hinge here, and then this swivels, and then the claws obviously pinch. But you can also remove the arm and insert a circle, cylindrical peg for him to stand on. Nice to have the option. We have a few hands. We have posing hands, holding hands, and two clawed fist hands. The claws are done extremely nicely. They're plastic, but they're just kind of firm enough to stay in place, but just malleable enough where they're not going to break. Really nicely done. Then you get three heads, one maskless Wolverine. Nice face sculpt, I think. The teeth are a little wonky. You know, it's like they look like keys on a piano rather than, they don't look like the teeth wrap around the shape of the mouth naturally. They look almost like they're just standing in a straight line. That's a hard thing to pull off, and it struggles here a bit too. The hair is painted beautifully. It's a black hair with a brown dry brush, just enough. Eyes are painted, eyebrows, and the face is shaded to include the 5 o'clock shadow. And then we have the masked Wolverine face with the gritting teeth. These teeth kind of have the same problem, unfortunately, but the mask is a great sculpt, and the grimace is a nice grimace, too. Maybe it's a little much, but, you know, with Wolverine, it can kind of stand to be a little much. And then we have this, and I'm not going to lie to you, I don't know why. I'm not the biggest Wolverine expert in the world, but I don't know what the reference is here, unless it goes to something else, and I just don't have time to research it right now. That being said, it's a devil mask. It fits on something. You know, I guess you can put it on him, but it doesn't really stay, so I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to guess that it goes to something else. We have it's a red plastic with a darker red shading. The horns are painted with a black glossiness. The eyes are painted, and then the iris is painted, and then the teeth are painted. And these teeth are sculpted much more proportionately. And then we have the figure, and it's really surprisingly nice. Like, I haven't, so when I saw this thing in pictures, it's the shorts, right? Like, it looks goofy because of the soft goods. And it's still a little goofy in person, but it's not as goofy as it looks in pictures. That's not to say that well, we'll get there, right? So, this head, we have the Saints Row detailing's beautiful face sculpt. The eyes, the facial expression, the shading in the skin tone, and the 5 o'clock shadow. Like, that is Wolverine. It looks just like you imagine him, at least just how I imagine him, which is most important for this current review. Now, articulation-wise, let's take this head off. So it is a double ball peg. It's just really tight. So double ball peg from the head into the neck, and then what feels like a single from... Ooh, that's not good, is it? Let's try to put that back on. All right, I'm going to be careful of that. A single ball peg from the neck into the chest. So kind of standard. Head gets down to there, up to there, swivel, nice sculpting in the back, confused dog look, all of it kind of works. I like the shape of the crest here on his mask as well, for what it's worth. Double ball peg from the chest into the abdomen. Once again, standard, and then the abdomen has a It might have a single, but it's hard to tell. It might not. it might just be all in this upper chest joint. So you get the swivel there, and you get the crunch forward, and you can lean him back a fair bit. And I'm feeling that bottom joint too. There is a ball peg at the bottom from the abdomen into the pelvis. It's just tight. So unfortunately, it helps you lean him back more than it does forward. There is sculpting underneath there. It will show up under the suit, so that's nice. This one I'm having a hard time with. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm leaving it off for now. So we'll show it on this side. It's on a hinge, on a tension hinge, which is just, it should have been a ball peg. That being said, you can get it up and out of the way for the disc hinge shoulder, which is really tight. Let me show you on this side. To get up to just about 90 degrees, I'd say we give it to him. Yikes. And it's a ball peg. It feels like inside of the chest, but you don't get much butterfly out of it. And then a swivel up and down. Now, unfortunately, this is connected to the shoulder, which is usually the best way to do business. But given the situation with this suit specifically, it probably should have been connected to the upper collarbone. So when you turn it, this turns with it, which isn't the best. That's not how I imagine the suit anyway. Maybe that's right, but I don't think so. Hair painted on, and all the skin tones look shaded to me. Bicep swivel, that works fine. Nice musculature and vasculature painted, sculpted into the figure. Double jointed elbow, that works well. Wrist gauntlet, painted and sculpted. No problems there. The wrists themselves are on disc hinges, which is a little bit more, no, it's a ball hinge, it just was misleading. So it's a ball hinge. So you get the up, down, or the in, out, and then you can turn it, swivel it at the gauntlet, and then you can swivel the hand back around and get the up, down. Silver paint on the claw kind of sheaths. It's like a black faux leather for the tiger marks, and then it's that stretchy material that Mezco has kind of used in the past for the spandex. Same thing with the trunks. The trunks are more of that pleather, and they look a little silly. There is some black line work in them, like painted on them, but I'm not sure it's enough to kind of be not distracting. And then we have the belt, which is sewn on. It's a red plastic. It is washed with a black, and the buttons are all painted, and then the buckle is painted with a red. So that's cool. For the hips, feels like T-jointed ball joints to me. Get you out to there, front and back to there, so the soft goods don't get much in the way. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knee, get you a great range. The boots will swivel a bit at the calf connection, and then the sculpting on the boots is tremendous. The paint, the black is dry brush with the silver. All the buckles and such are painted on the boot, and the laces are all sculpted. And then the straps on the back are both painted and sculpted, so that's nice. The feet, it feels like a double ball peg. I'm going to go with that. Ankle tilt up, very limited. Down, very limited. Rocker, very limited. So the feet are going to be an issue, and this shoulder pad is going to be an issue, at least on this one. And there he is from the back. You do have this big giant stitch mark in the back. It looks nice down the back of the legs. They did a nice job there, but this one is a little unsightly. But yeah, I have to say, seeing this figure in pictures since I think Toy Fair of last year, it's much better looking in hand than it has been in pictures. Size comparison wise, there it is with Captain America Marvel Legends, and that feels pretty good to me. He might be a little tall, but overall that feels pretty good to me. Final thoughts wise, it has some issues. This shoulder piece has a hard time staying on, at least on mine. I don't know if I mentioned this silver dry brushing, and there's actually a glossy and a flat blue used on there too. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. But yeah, that piece has a hard time staying on, and you kind of want more out of the chest and ab crunch. And that's really it for subjectivity. For objectivity, the subjective nature of this is just whether or not you can get past these trunks. It's a little goofy. Oh, that thing fell off again. That is not great. But yeah, it's just a little goofy. Like, the trunks are just... it might be a bit much. I can't tell. It's definitely personal preference, but that's a big drawback for me. And like the sculpted plastic here is really phenomenal. I know they're committed to this soft goods things, and I've seen them do it well. Like the Daredevil that they did was done really well, the Punisher, but like this one is done well. I'm just not sure if, you know what? I know the perfect word. I'm not sure if it translates well. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if it translates well in this scale. It just ends up, and especially with this character design, the trunks. You know what I think would look good? You know, the yellow and blue suit where it's like blue down on one side, like and wraps up and it's like yellow all through the chest, crotch, inner thighs. Like that suit would probably work better with this sort of approach. But I love the paint work. I love the sculpt work. Everything that they do in plastics has been top shelf. The accessories make sense, with the exception of that devil head. Maybe that makes sense too. I just am not up on it. Definitely evokes the character. I'll tell you, this shoulder pad is driving me nuts. And I looked at it. I think there might be some flaws with it. I think that if I were him, I would contact my retailer of choice. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to mess with the exception of the shoulder pad, because it just seems so much like the character, and that really comes through. It's just whether or not you can deal with them drawers. And that is a personal choice. So thanks to him for letting me take a look at it, and thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.